2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Welcome to Teaching Crypto's AZcrypto and MrFOMO. Please hit that like, that subscribe, and that bell notification. Super chats are open. MrFOMO, big day for Bitcoin today because an ETF approval could happen. Now, could with a capital C, but here's the reality here. ARK's ETF, really, there needs to be a decision today because the SEC does not make decisions on weekends. And so we've got our first ETF date pretty much today. Now, it could be delayed. However, a delay or silence is actually going to be good news, I think, for the market. Now, huge if, I don't expect it, we're not going to lie to our audience, it is approved, you would see a massive green candle, no doubt. No doubt, just on the news, you would see a massive green candle. How big would that candle be? I think it would push us over 30, which I'm going to talk about later in the show, why the two failed attempts at 30 are not things you should be discouraged about, because the next attempt coming up, I think, is going to be the one where it clears 30. And I'm going to make a statement that that might take you back. But go ahead and give us your opinion as I share former Twitter/X the president, Bitcoin Jack, talks about this in his post. But go ahead.
And you know that I still have a feeling that the ETF is going to draw people away from Bitcoin into that ETF. It's a safer investment, and so.
But those people need exposure to the Bitcoin.
All of the people out there writing about it are agreeing with you. But to me, when you add another option, it seems like
But what you're missing is those institutions need to then have greater exposure to Bitcoin. Hundreds of millions of billions.
We're already talking about institutions that are already exposed.
Not enough. Not enough.
Bitcoin. So I'm not sure that it's going to cause the explosive growth. But again, everybody seems to agree with you on that. And so I'll have egg on my face if I'm wrong about that. But I don't see an explosion coming out of Bitcoin because of the ETF. But I think
it's a gigantic move in this space.
I will be absolutely ecstatic to be wrong. So. But the reason that Bitcoin keeps staying under 30, if you look at the on-chain metrics, is because the miners are still selling their Bitcoin. And until the halving event, or at least until leading into the halving event, that seems to be the trend. And so as long as miners are earning that Bitcoin and selling it off, the price is going to stay pretty much flat. But the good news is that with the price hanging around here, you have so many people buying at the 29,000 level that it's creating a huge amount of support. And I've heard people describe it as almost a coiling up. It was like creating a spring to bounce off of. And so I could see the news of the ETF surely adding some momentum.
That's what I'm saying.
And with all that support at 29, I certainly don't think that we're going to go much lower in the short term. So I think the news could make it pop off, but I don't see explosive growth yet. I think we're still a couple months away from that.
Well, let's label explosive growth. I've been talking about a 34K Bitcoin this month. In any news, it doesn't have to be a approval. It could be we're not saying no, but we need more time. I think that is a positive thing. Now,
so a 10 to 20% explosion is what you're saying?
Well, my theory has always been that we're going to see 40K Bitcoin before January 1st of 2024. I'm not saying it's going to hold 40 and go above that. I just said we would hit 40, kind of like we hit 30. But and so far, first 11 days, it doesn't look good. It's August 11th, but still a long way to go. I maintain that we are going to get above 30. Now, I want to talk about the two attempts that failed, okay? One, there was news about inflation, which wasn't that great. It was not horrible, but it was
expected.
The stock market's kind of been struggling a little bit. And so all that has kind of tempered enthusiasm for the market. I do really believe that either the next time or the time after it touches 30, it'll be gone for 30. And that might be the last time you see Bitcoin under $30,000 in our lifetime. It really might, because my theory is, and it's just my theory, we're going to see 40K, we're going to retrace, we're going to go sideways chopping. And then next year, as we build, because remember, the ETFs are supposed to be approved about a month before the halving. Then you have inflation, you have interest rates either saying no more hikes or possibly announcing cuts that are coming in the spring. And that to me is going to create the momentum necessary for Bitcoin to hit all-time highs around or after the halving, maybe a little cooling off in the spring. And then you're going to see, I think a year from now, you're going to see Bitcoin really testing six figures, maybe not there, but in the 80 to 90 range or higher. And so I'm just looking at it right now. The ETF just brings more attention to the space, and people start doing their research and they start learning about the 4-year cycles. They learn that 75% of Bitcoin holders are now long-term holders. That's gigantic. And that's why it's not getting pushed. You saw barely get pushed to 28.5 was like the most the bears could push it. You just can't push it back to 25 anymore, 26, 27. Maybe 27 is mathematically possible. That's kind of it, right? You talked about that. So yes, the more and more people build at this level, the more the next move is going to be parabolic. So I do think if you don't hear anything, I think the market's going to take that as a positive. And what you will see is us get back to the 29.5, 29.6. Weekends, you don't see a lot of huge green candles usually. Sometimes you do, but not usually. Not that usually happens during a full bull market. So I anticipate next week, I know I keep saying that, is the week we get above 30. And then I do see a push before the holiday weekend at the end of this month of 34K.
Okay. I still don't see 40. I mean, you're really talking about almost, you're talking like a 50% push for Bitcoin between.
No, 40K before the end of the year. So that
right,
gives
right. But so that's
November,
a 40 to 50% push in the next 4 months, which is not out of the realm of possibility for Bitcoin, but it's still.
Well, no, you're only talking about going from 30 to 40. That's not an insane. I mean, we went from 15 to 30. If you zoom out pretty quickly from December, and you hit it in the early summer, right?
Right,
And
but the
so,
market cap is double what it was there, so it's going to take twice the amount of money to get it.
yeah, and
So
it's going to take news like an
still a
ETF.
lot of factors that have to go into this. I do agree with the spring being an explosion, though. The CME numbers show that a lot of people are betting on that, and a lot of people are betting it. Specifically, it shows that a lot of people are betting on interest rate cuts in the spring. And so that's the important thing to remember, that if the Fed starts cutting the interest rate as early as February, you may see money start coming back into the market. Now, will they cut it massively? Doubtful. But that little cut might lead to more cuts, and that optimism may lead to more people flooding the market.
Yeah, and there are different theories. Most people are still believing in the 4-year cycle. We talked about someone last time that actually believes that we're going to see all-time highs this year, and then a bear market a few months after the cycle. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think everyone needs to be prepared, right? So if you are right, then we've talked about this: DCA slowly, responsibly. Make sure you have your Bitcoin in a safe place. Because, guys, Bitcoin is not going to be, nothing is guaranteed in life at all, except a few things. you know what they are. They talk about taxes and death. The other thing is people are going to be saying, I can't believe I didn't buy Bitcoin at 30K. How many people right now are saying, I can't believe I didn't buy Bitcoin at $15,000? And it's like there's that picture where you see two windows, right? And right now you're seeing no one line up to buy the 29, 30K Bitcoin. But a year from now, you're going to see people line up to buy the Bitcoin that's well over 50K, right? It's just what it is. Because people get excited and then they're like, oh, this thing really is for real. Like, I think it takes retail a while to catch up. Retail is not in right now at all. This 29.3 to 29.4 is mostly without retail. I think it's important to remember that. When I'm talking about retail, I'm talking about the casual Bitcoin buyer that jumped in and pushed it up to 66. Obviously, there are whales. Obviously, there are very wealthy people, institutions. But once you get the average person putting a few $1,000s into Bitcoin, and there are millions of those people and millions, and they tell their friends, that's when you really see it pick up. And that's when the news picks it up. And so right now, Bitcoin is not the hot topic. But if it goes to 34, you'll see some stories again. And there'll be stories about how get in before it hits 40. And I think that's what you're going to see. And again, there's a long time to go. 31.8 was not that long ago. It was just last month. And so it feels like an eternity. In your mind, it feels like we've been stuck at 30K for months and months and months. No, the reality is 31.8 was just over a month ago. That's it. 5 weeks. So it has not been. That XRP news was towards the end of the summer. Well, for us, because we're in education, so the summer's over. But you get what I'm saying. It in our mindset, Bitcoin has been struggling for so long. Yet in May, it was at 24K, and that was 2 months ago. So it's gone up over $5,000 in 2 months. You're saying you can't see it go up another 5,000 in 2 months with more news.
There's a lot of things fighting against it, and there's not a lot of interest in it. There's still a lot of negativity. You look at the indicators, and they're just not there. So for right now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin will not go to 100,000, 150,000. I do believe that will happen. I just don't want to be one of those channels that are like, we're going.
No, we're not saying that. No,
but like I said, 5,000 in 2 months, 10,000 in 4 months, that's entirely possible. But it's going to need some positive news, some positive momentum. And right now, it's just not there. With the ETF, it would be there. But do you think the ARK Invest ETF is the one that sparks it? Or do you think that people are still really waiting for
any ETF that is approved means that all of the ETFs will most likely be approved. So here's the thing. If you do not hear anything today, if there is not a flat out no, that is a sign to say, hey, we're thinking about it. We just need more time. Now, eventually they're going to have to act, right? All the others are due early next year by around February. They're going to have to act. I think they are going to be approved in 2024. I don't think we're going to see a press release saying, yep, ARK, you got the thumbs up. But what I do believe is there's not going to be a denied. And I think that is going to help a little bit. Do I think we're going to hit 30K absolutely today? Maybe not. Now, you just never know. Eventually, it's the yes is going to happen. It's a matter of when. BlackRock insiders are saying they expect it about a month before the halving, early 2024. I think it's happening. I don't think Fidelity wastes their time with these filings if they don't think they're getting in either. I think these
eventually it will happen.
Yeah.
But what you got was the last time they filed one, it was inadequate. And that's not something that you want to hear when you're filing.
Well, but it wasn't a no. It was not a no. In the past, they were just saying no. So let's watch the news carefully. No news is actually good news today. And I think what you will see again is if there is nothing, basically what they're saying is we're not saying no, but we need more time. And so they don't have to announce that. I think they can just tell ARK, hey, and someone will pick up the story, obviously. And I think next week that will help a little bit. Okay. And we will just wait and see what happens. World events are hard to predict. But really quickly, I did want to talk about two of my picks. And no, they have not gone parabolic by any means, but Chainlink and Solana have done pretty well considering. Solana has continually gone up, and Chainlink was pushing 8. When Bitcoin got denied, it went back a little bit, but it didn't retrace all the way back to 7. It's in the 750 to 760 range. I'm still high on those tokens for the rest of the month. Again, we do need Bitcoin to at some point hold on to 30. And I really do believe if we do get that green candle I'm anticipating, where we get to 30, hold on, get to 32, 33, 34, you will not see Bitcoin back again below 30.
Yeah, and there was actually good news that came along with Solana. The Utes NFT collection that moved previously from Ethereum to Polygon moved from Polygon to Solana. So they had good reason for trading in opposition, sort of against Bitcoin, like running in the opposite direction. And so there's good reason for that. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the market reacting to good news, right? You don't want to just see these altcoins moving in tandem with Bitcoin. And so when you have a coin like that, that's a really special thing, especially when they have things going on. They're bringing in projects like the Utes. They're bringing in, NFT collections, or they're bringing in partnerships like Aptos with Microsoft. Those are the things you want to see. You want to see development. You want to see progress. And so that's important with Solana and projects like Chainlink as well, that you are seeing them get better and better and better. You're seeing them evolve as the market grows. And so those are projects that I really like. They weren't my picks, but I really like those projects, and I think people should take a good hard look at those. One other altcoin I wanted to mention before we get off, Aptos. You saw it make a huge jump because of that partnership that was announced with Microsoft. And then it's been trailing off because they're going to have a token release, and that will create some sell pressure. However, there are a lot of people betting on, or a lot of people shorting Aptos right now. So watch social media, and we'll keep an eye on it too, to see if anybody starts talking about a short squeeze or something like that. And then maybe it's time to purchase a little Aptos in the short term and play a little game with it. But we'll keep an eye on that, because it seems like there's huge volatility there. And it seems like that might be a token that people might play with as this token release comes closer and people start selling off more and more.
Yeah, keep your ears open. Stay tuned, because if there is news, we will come back live for sure. Who knows? We might be doing a huge show later this afternoon. Guys, please remember to hit that subscribe button, share the show. We would really appreciate it. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a great weekend.
See ya. Whoops, it didn't go. That always happens. I hate this thing.